You know, it has not been a good 96 hours or so, plus 96 hours, 100 something hours, I don't know. Basically, it's not been a good past four days for AEW, period. I mean, the fact that we got to a point where last night everybody should have been celebrating. Everybody should have been, happy with the success that All Out 2022 had, despite, not being booked, the way people believe it should have been. Everybody, fans, the wrestlers, Tony Khan himself, everybody should have been on a high from All Out, if you will. Everybody. We have a new trios champions in the Elite. CM Punk won the title in his hometown. MJF is back to start a feud, work-shoot feud with CM Punk. John Moxley's going to take a break, well-deserved, spend time with his wife Renee. Everybody should have been on cloud nine. And then all hell broke loose at the media scrum. And we all know the rest of it. It basically turned what was supposed to be a week of celebration, a week of, elation, if you will. A week of, hey, now we're on the road to Grand Slam, now we're getting back on track, now we're going to see who the fans truly are going to get behind, who is the better wrestling company, WWE, AEW. And in one fell swoop, it goes down the drain. All because Phil Brooks, CM Punk, couldn't keep his mouth shut. He just couldn't. And not just him, but because the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, they could not keep their emotions intact. And Tony Khan put himself in this situation from not stepping up on day one that this company was made and saying, I'm the boss, what I say goes, and if you cross any line that I feel is inappropriate, you're gone. You're history. But he never did that. He never did that because he wanted to be a promoter that, as a wrestling fan, understood what the fans wanted. So he's a promoter that's a fan that runs a company because he wants to give the fans what he would want because he knows that's what they would want. Instead of basically saying, hey, now that I own this company, my days as a fan are over, now it's time to be a businessman, it's time to grow up. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that until basically finally something like this opened his damn eyes. And here's the thing. You've had a lot of other incidences, a lot of other call-outs and everything throughout the past several months, the past year or so. Big Swole, Marco Stunt, Joey Janela, you name it. There have been many talents that have come out and said, AEW is not what you think it is. Tony Khan is not who you think he is. And here's the kicker about it. They probably were right the whole time. We just didn't see it. We as wrestling fans did not see it. Because we were blinded at the fact that, we have a new big-time alternate wrestling company that's about wrestling, and it gives us what we want. Unlike WWE, who's just about, hey, let's go to the 24/7 title. We were blinded by it. We drank the Kool-Aid. And now that Kool-Aid is slowly seeping out. Our eyes are reopening. And we're starting to see maybe what everybody that has been let go by AEW, that was there, we're starting to see, we're basically finally starting to see what they said could possibly, if not definitely, be true. And then this leads to another question. Did Cody Rhodes know? We heard about drama between him and the Bucks and Omega. Did he know? Did Cody Rhodes know that something's gonna come to a boil? Something's going to burst like a volcano? That needs to be put out? before it causes a lot more damage? Did he know? He probably did. I mean, let's not forget something, guys. Let's not forget something. Hold on. Let's not forget something. Cody Rhodes was in AEW when CM Punk showed up. Okay? Cody Rhodes was there. Cody Rhodes knows how CM Punk is. Bryan Danielson knows how CM Punk is. Thankfully, Danielson, he's the kind of guy that's like, hey, I want no part of this. I'm going to go do my own thing with the Blackpool Combat Club. And thank God he is. Along with Moxley and Yuta and Regal and Cesaro or Claudio, thank God they're doing that. It keeps them out of this equation. Thank the Lord. But guys like Danielson, guys like Cody, who have worked with Punk in WWE, Danielson outside of it with Ring of Honor and all these other places, they know how Punk is. They know how they know how Phil Brooks is. And the moment he showed up in AEW, yeah, it was a big boost in the arm, a big shot in the arm of momentum for that company. Give no doubt about it, if you will. Give no what am I looking for? Give no doubt about it. It was a big shot. It was a big shot in the arm. But Cody, knowing personally after working with this guy for a while, knew that this wasn't going to be a good thing in the end. Maybe like a lot of us, he was hoping it was, but I think he saw the writing on the wall. He saw the writing on the wall. He did. He saw the writing on the wall. It's like at first, as I mentioned, he was probably glad he was there. Gives them a big boost of momentum. Gives them the bragging rights of, hey, we're the company that brought CM Punk back to wrestling. But he probably saw the writing on the wall. Maybe months in, not even maybe a few months into Punk's tenure with the company, he saw the writing on the wall. He's like, oh shit, this isn't good. This isn't good. And basically, ladies and gentlemen, the moment the drama started up with him and the Bucks, I think is when he knew, well, if I'm having issues with Matt and Nick and Kenny right now, which, obviously, I guess they kind of maybe talked over, maybe they kind of was able to work things out, but still it's like, yeah, this has definitely changed things to the point that I can't be here anymore. Here's the thing. Did he realize from his own personal experience, and even maybe before that, hey, if the Bucks are able to get under his skin and stuff, what will they do to the likes of a CM Punk? What will they do to the likes of a Adam Cole or a Bryan Danielson? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And I think honestly that's when he saw the writing on the wall. Everybody says he had to have known something was going to happen, which is why he got out. And the fact that, he dealt with something very similar, not as bad. Thankfully it never came to physical fisticuffs. And I guess they were able to smooth it out, but, not enough for him to want to remain. It's like, he probably realized if they tried to pull this kind of stuff with CM Punk or someone like him, it'd be drastically different. Like the outcome would be drastically different. And I think honestly, I think Cody tried to warn them. I'm guessing, this is what my assumption. I believe Cody, the moment Punk showed up, and maybe not even a month in, Cody probably tried to sit them down, even before the drama with him and them started, but he probably tried to sit them down and say, guys, whatever you do, do not get under CM Punk's skin. Do not get under Phil Brooks' skin, because he's the kind of guy that will give it back tenfold. He will give it back tenfold. And I don't know if they took that advice seriously or not, But I'm assuming that's what Cody did. He had to sit them down and said, look, don't screw with this guy because he's not the kind of guy you want to screw with. But obviously they didn't listen. They probably figured, he's not that way anymore. Or from what we understand, he's changed. He's one of us. He's good. They probably didn't realize that but Rose was probably trying to, not only warn them, but prevent something like this from happening. But I'm assuming again, he probably sat them down, tried to explain to them not to, mess with this guy. Others that know Punk very well probably tried to do the same thing. And, I'm sure they listened, but they didn't take it to heart. And I'm assuming the whole Colt Cabana thing is what pushed them over the edge. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Colt's gone the moment this guy shows up. It's like, okay, well, let's be honest. Colt wasn't gone entirely yet. But over time he was. And they're like, it's kind of weird. Punk shows up and suddenly Colt's not getting that much television time anymore with the Dark Order. He's not featured anymore. What's going on? And again, like I said, he wasn't totally gone, at first, because let's not forget, he did have a match with Danielson on national television. So he obviously wasn't gone completely. But over time he was. And we don't know if that was a Tony Khan move on his own, or if it was, CM Punk influenced. We don't know. But Colt Cabana nearly being let go, but then being re-signed and put on ROH, obviously was the tipping point for the Bucks, the tipping point for Omega, and they're like, nah, this is dumb. This is not right. All because of this guy's here. Well, you know what? We're gonna let the world know that this guy is the reason. Then fans are not seeing one of the fan favorites anymore because of him. And again, it all stems back to what I'm assuming people like Cody Rhodes tried to warn them about. Do not get under this guy's skin. Do not get under this guy's skin, because he will retaliate. He will fire back. He will not hold punches. And guess what? He didn't. He did not hold punches. Figuratively and literally. He did not hold punches. All because of the fact that whatever advice people like Rhodes and others tried to give them about, hey, do not confront this guy. Do not say anything bad about this guy. Don't do this. Don't do that. It went in one ear and out the other. Now, here's the thing. Should Punk have said anything at all? No. Now, Punk tried to, say anything at all? No. He could have ignored it. He could have showed that he has changed. He's, overcome his anger and all that. He could have proved us all wrong. Like, hey, yeah, I'm still the CM Punk, but I'm not the kind of CM Punk that's going to basically go off script, go into business for themselves. Also, anything. If I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna shoot in a way that helps, elevate the story, elevate the feud with the person I'm in. And he could have proved us all wrong by being that kind of a Punk, but he didn't. He's still the same CM Punk. And I'm almost assuming. Again, this is all based on assumption, guys. I'm almost assuming people tried to warn the Bucks. They tried to warn Omega. Do not screw with this guy. Because he will retaliate. And he did. He did retaliate. And, he retaliated at a time where I think people didn't expect him to do so. Being in Chicago, winning back the championship from Moxley, people expected him to go on to the media scrum saying, hey, it's great to have won in my hometown. I'm happy to be a two-time champion. And I can't wait to, start this program with MJF and, shut his mouth and all that. Everybody was expecting something like that. Nobody expected what they got. And a lot of people are assuming if Punk knew, because word is he got injured in the match with Moxley, not during the brawl with the Bucks and Omega, but he got injured in the match with Moxley. People are assuming if, Punk kind of knew, okay, I'm going to be gone for a while, if not permanently now, with a torn pec. Well, if I'm not going to be here, I might as well let it all out. It's like, people are assuming, did he know? Did he know he was going to be gone because of this torn pectoral injury? And so instead of just, like I said, being, doing something people would expect, like saying, hey, I'm glad to be champ, I can't wait to start this program with MJF, da-da-da-da. Instead, knowing that he probably wouldn't be around for quite some time, if at all, he decided to go scorch earth on AEW. He decided to go scorch earth. Nuclear, bomb on the Bucks. Nuclear bomb on Omega. Nuclear bomb on Adam Page. Heck, nuclear pipe bomb, wipe everything out of extinction on the entire freaking AEW roster. And what it does is it paints AEW in a very dark light. Because now people look at AEW like, you're nothing more than WCW 2.0. And that's what a lot of people suspected it was. Like, yeah, it's great that it's an alternative wrestling company. It's giving us all these different variety of matches. It allows more blood. Heck, we're getting barbed wire exploding matches. We're getting all this. And yet, after what happened on Sunday, late Sunday evening, early Monday morning at Media Scrum, when he dropped that nuclear bomb, wiping everything out of extinction, shoot that he did. Basically, and then what happened afterwards, it basically rectifies what a lot of those people felt. That this is nothing but WCW 2.0, and people like Tony Khan can't accept the fact that WCW is dead, leave it be, and move on. And don't try to pattern your company after it. This paints them in a bad light. And like I said during the live stream that I did last night walking home, from the bus stop here in Newman, what he did last night by, stripping the Bucks, stripping Punk of their titles, removing them from the intro, separating the company from them as far as possible for the time being until cooler heads possibly prevail. That was a growing step for him. That was the first step necessary for Tony Khan to take, to show that he, along with the company, is still growing. Like I said, basically, I'm just checking my time here. Like I said, AEW's first 3 years were kind of like the childhood years. Tony Khan's first 3 years as owners were like the childhood years. Now he and the company are entering into what we call the adolescent puberty years, the teen years, the years of growing, the years where the decisions you make over time decide the direction you're taking your life, your career, your company. He is now entering those adolescent years, those teenage years. And by the end of this year, going into Revolution next year, within this time frame from September 2022 to February 2023, that is going to be the adolescent era. That's going to be the growing era. And by the time we get to Revolution, that should be the telltale sign of whether or not this company and its owner have finally fully grown up and realized, just like I said in that video, and I titled it the same way, they hopefully realize that if you're going to bring somebody in like a CM Punk, that you need to be careful, you need to do your research, you need to talk to people, and make sure whether or not this person, he or she, is right to come into this company, whether they have baggage or not, and what you could do to basically have them keep that baggage at home. Because if somebody tells you this is not the right person to bring in because they're going to bring in too much baggage, then you don't listen to them. Or if they say, yeah, you can bring them in, but you need to do this to get them to remove that baggage they have, leave it at home, then fine. But hopefully between now and February, this second part of the growing period where by Revolution they finally grow up hopefully and go in the right direction. Part of that right direction is making sure that from now on, you and your team, the team you assemble, Tony, do your research and realize, okay, this person's perfect, we can work with them. This person, nah, we're not too sure, too much baggage. That's what you need to do. And that's what you should have done with CM Punk. You should have took the Elite by the side and said, guys, I'm going to bring in CM Punk, and I'm going to bring in CM Punk. He's a very vocal, outspoken, doesn't take BS from anybody kind of person. So I'm going to ask you right now that whatever problems you might have with him or will have with him, if you do, please keep them to yourself. Or opinions you might have about him, keep them to yourself. I would have done that at first. I would have took him aside and said, keep any opinions you feel about this guy to yourself from now on. That's what I would have done. And I would have took Phil aside and said, Phil, I know you're outspoken, but please try to keep that to a minimum. But Tony Khan didn't do that. And now, this situation he's in is a growing period for him. He is in the adolescent, teen, rebellious years, the puberty years. And by the time we get to Revolution, that will be the end of that era, and basically the start of the grown adult era. And hopefully by then, he would have achieved that along with his company. But yeah, this has not been a good 24-something hours for this company, guys. It has not been. Well, not 24, but not been a good past 4 days for this company. It has not been, guys. And I guarantee you, excuse my language, I guarantee you that if Tony Khan doesn't put on those big boy pants and take these next, last 4 months in 2022 and the first 2 months of 2023, which again, I look at as the adolescent puberty years, teenage years of this company, and use them to steer it in the right direction, this company, one, will not get that TV deal they are so sought after to expand Rampage to 2 hours, maybe get some TV coverage for Ring of Honor. They're not going to get that. That's going to go up in smoke. They're not going to get renewed, and they're going to have to look for a new home. And after what's happened here, that reputation that, they need to kind of, fix, they need to kind of clean themselves up from, that reputation will follow them, and nobody will want anything to do with them. And they're going to end up just like every other promotion that has been before them. They will fall. They will fall, and Tony Khan, at the advice of his family or somebody, may have no choice but to sell this company to somebody else. And I would not be surprised. And I'm not saying this because I'm a WWE defender. I'm not saying this because I'm a fanboy. I'm saying this because it's fact. Tony Khan would, at the advice of somebody, if things don't get straightened out, and nobody wants to associate with them because of what happened and the reputation they've gained, Tony Khan will have no choice but to sell this company to somebody else, and more than likely that somebody else will be WWE. Either WWE or Anthem Sports, he's going to have to sell it to one of those two, more than likely WWE. Because, him being a wrestling fan, he's going to want the talent that he has to have as much exposure as possible, and WWE provides that. But that is one direction, that is one situation. As far out as it might sound, as much of a wild card situation as it may sound like, that is one situation nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to even acknowledge. They do not want to acknowledge. Period. They don't. They do not want to acknowledge that whatsoever. They don't even want to think about that possibility. But guess what? It's a possibility that could be very, very real. If Tony Khan doesn't take these next 4 to 6 months, this growing period of, puberty, adolescent, teen years of AEW, and himself as an owner, as a boss, to grow and take the company in the right direction so he can avoid something like that, so he can get the TV deal he wants for the company, for the Ring of Honor company as well, and so that people can look at AEW as still being that true alternative to WWE to a point, then everybody will stop comparing them and saying that they are WCW 2.0. The fact is, Tony Khan has a lot of growing to do with himself and this company in these next 4 to 6 months. And he needs to make sure he goes in that right direction. And whenever the Elite comes back from the suspension, he needs to sit them down. Say, because of your actions, I'm removing you as EVPs. These are the new EVPs. I'm still keeping you under contract as wrestlers. But if I'm him, I sit them down and I explain to them that if they ever pull another stunt like that again, if they ever go online and say stuff like that again without getting the facts right, not only will he fire them, but he will ban them, because he has the kind of money and maybe the kind of influence. He will ban them from competing in any wrestling company ever again. He needs to basically sit them down and give them that ultimatum. It's either you're a team player, you grow up like I'm growing up, you grow up, stop acting like teenagers, take this seriously, and basically give the fans what they ask for: professional wrestling. That's what he needs to do. The moment they come back, the moment Punk comes back as well, whether he stays with the company or not, which that's still up in the air, he needs to sit them down, tell the Elite exactly something like that, and then he needs to sit down with Punk and explain to Punk, look, I'm keeping you, I want to keep you around, I want you to have a place to be happy in, but I'm letting you know right now, that I don't want to have to deal with something like what happened in that media scrum ever again. So I'm letting you know that from now on, if you start to go off on your own, you start doing things, you start going into business for yourself and talking about things not related to what you're dealing with in that ring storyline wise, I'm cutting your mic. I am cutting your mic. That's all he has to do. He just says, I'm cutting your mic and I'm not going to let you have any more promo time. Unless you keep your opinions and everything to yourself. And that's it. He needs to let them know that. It's like, you're my top draw, you sell out the arenas, but I don't want you to go into business for yourself anymore. You either be a team player or you get out. That's all he has to do. That's all he has to do. But, guys, it has not been a good 4 days, it's 96 hours, whatever you want to call it, for this company. It's not been. And if I'm Tony Khan, this is the growing period. It's the adolescent era. It's the teen era of AEW. And hopefully it's an era that he learns from, he grows from, and by the time we get to Revolution, and maybe by then the Elite will be back, maybe Punk will be back in some capacity, he sits them all down separately and explains exactly in some shape or form what I just said. Tells them exactly something similar, and, goes from there. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hold on for a sec, guys. I don't know who that is. It says Highland. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully he does something like that. But, yeah, this is not a good look for them. It's not a good look, and it just reiterates what a lot of people have said about them. So, let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, super thanks are open afterwards. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. But let me know what your thoughts are, because this is dumb, man. This is a dumb situation that AEW put themselves in. It's not a good look, and hopefully they grow from this. And last night, I think, in my opinion, whether you agree with it or not, was the first step in that happening.